We're live here in Santa Rosa County, Fort Worth. And just going to get everything set up. Hopefully I don't get this wrong. It's kind of hard to do it with the iPhone, but we're going to do it.
I would like, can I use your fan as well? Okay, so,
So as you guys can see,
it's gonna be good.
this is the crowd. Pretty good turnout. A lot of people care about this.
And then, John, I think we'll go to you. I think what I'll do is I'll just give a shout out to those who covered us for media up until this point. You can get on there and talk about, like open it up with, hey, anybody that wants to be on a live feed, go to brokentruth.com or that kind of thing. And then,
We're streaming this now.
oh, hi.
This is Key West Chin.
And then we'll go over, have you seen Nate yet?
I have not.
Nate's on his way. He talked, he's coming, but Dr. Jim, I think goes into Dr. Jim.
And Nolan, speak to you.
Dr. Jim. How would I? And then what, John?
Yeah, we have to kind of cover this
Okay.
area.
So yeah, we want to give her space.
Is it okay for me to go to this right here?
I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Give me someone doing the signs with.
Yeah.
Give me someone doing the signs.
Yeah. Don't close that down.
I'm not.
Let me know roughly when I start talking.
Okay.
Do a wave or something. Do a wave or something like please let's talk. That way. Like 2 years.
Okay.
No, we're gonna do it June 1st
Shout out. Okay, so let's do.
or March 1st. Yeah.
Oh, we're scants.
Yes.
In the medical freedom.
Okay, so listen.
Yes.
Well, but you get your place the green stuff.
Yeah, I did put hospital information on my speak at all.
We'll save that. We'll get everybody around the table.
Okay, so what do you need me to do? I just need your phone. Oh, check the screen. Make sure. All right, check. That's right there, bro.
Nate.
You may need to follow.
Again?
Yeah, fine.
I know. But you were off for a while. So
It's too.
Right.
so here we go. So I'm on there.
Because these are just gonna do my. Yes.
What do I do?
And then we give them.
Oh,
It'll be my mic check.
Tell me, Cindy Smith, what are your like credentials? What do you want me to say? I know you're like 43 years old. So then what would I say?
I was having trouble with audio. So this stuff is fine.
In traffic. We have several in the audience.
Now, check that. I think I just switched to the right mic. Hello, hello.
Well, not exactly.
Do you have it on silent mode?
Yeah. That's just.
Yeah.
So, hey guys.
Yeah, that's not sense.
No.
And then am I the?
But it might not be you. I was having real trouble hearing things on my phone last night. I don't know why. So maybe we should check somebody else's.
Yeah. Hey, can you guys hear this?
Hey, Mr. Larry.
How y'all doing?
Good to
I don't know if you can
Yeah.
pop up and hear this.
Good.
Could you go to Twitter and check to see if I'm feeding audio?
Sure. And it's broken,
Truth TV.
broken truth TV.
Here in the land of the free and home of the brave.
It's awful. We consider ourselves.
Check, check.
And yet here we are.
Freest state in the nation. So I asked me, I said, what are y'all doing up there?
Yeah, and you know,
Check, check.
of what is happening at a federal level, this is happening nationwide.
Nationwide.
It is nationwide. We need
So it's back into follow mode. I just want to check to see if you can hear this audio. Can you hear me? Is the audio good? You could. Sorry, I just want to make sure the audio is great on the microphone.
COVID, it feels like our medical system is pretty
So no, you'd have to go to
Anybody who doesn't know that our medical industrial complex is broken.
I'm gonna leave you to it. I'm gonna leave you with these.
now you're gonna check and see if you can hear me.
I gotta get mine.
It's amazing.
I'll be right back with you, ladies.
All right, so we are live.
If anybody wants to get involved.
Maybe not now because they're fixing to get started, but yeah, definitely.
I knew So a lot of these people have been on the wrong end of DCF as well. A lot of them have heard the story and they saw the video. I got Clint Nollers
Wants to sign up and be part of this and
with me here.
your story. Come
Thank
on
you.
here, put
Hi.
your email
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
name, please.
So sorry,
So we've got sound.
we've got sound. I
Okay.
got to remember to do this. I got to be like
All right.
Nick, like old Nick Shirley.
Okay.
So I got to remember to put it in your face. But yeah. So right now, the hearing is about to start in 5 minutes. So what do you think, Clinton? We've talked about this for like 7 hours driving down here yesterday.
Well, I just spoke with another family here who they're two infants, a young couple, young parents. Two infants were taken by Children Protective Services over a misdiagnosis of abuse, and when actually it was something that happened like the child had a bite mark from being at daycare, and that was documented, and then a fracture like an infant can get, and so they took their children away. So they're here to support. I just watched a story on Twitter. I just reposted one about a little Brazilian girl who was forced by their version of CPS to take the injection. The family was threatened that if she didn't get the mRNA vaccine, they're going to take her away. She came home
Are we loud?
terrified. She got the vaccine and she died a few days later. So, I mean, this is really, really terrible that parents can be with the threat of taking a child away.
Agreed.
Yeah. And to be forced to make bad medical decisions.
Yeah, this has been a strange case. I mean, some of the evidence used as probable cause for taking Kenlee was clearly false and easily disproven. And it goes to a different thing where our courts and DA's systems use, they throw everything in the kitchen sink at you, not to prove truth, but to get you to comply.
Yeah.
This is a really nasty practice because it should be considered perjury when you present something to the court that is provably false with even the least amount of effort. For an easy example, the drug that they used. They said in the video, they're totally different drugs. Well, no, that's not true. One of the compounds in the drug Kafta was also the same in Orkambi, which is a drug that Kenlee had an adverse reaction to. It was documented.
Yeah.
All of it was provable, and they just didn't care because they were trying to get that kid.
Well, to say that you're denying treatments when actually what you're doing is responsibly evaluating a variety of treatments for what's safest for the child. Yes, this is an outright lie. That should be perjury. Then to say that the child is in imminent danger when the child is being treated and is in no danger at all, this is another lie. So we have to ask ourselves, what's the larger problem with our system, that it is so corrupt that bureaucrats are able to lie to take children away?
We're gonna be getting ready in about 5 minutes, so once you see a little then it's time to listen, okay?
Got that? 5 minutes, we'll start speaking.
Yeah.
So,
And that there's as we understand, some of these people lost their jobs, but that didn't then reverse the decision to take this child away for 2 years. and
Right.
now to take parental rights away. And think of the abuse here. So we're supposed to be protecting children, right? Well, what's the level of abuse like to even the sister? Can you imagine being a child who's watching her sister, her 5-year-old sister,
I
her
agree.
playmate, torn away by strangers to be what, delivered to a hospital for a couple weeks and then given to another family with
Right.
7 foster kids? Like this is just, I mean, it's
It's a
absolutely
travesty.
barbaric. That poor child, the sister will never ever be the same because of that experience.
I
That is
agree.
horrible child abuse.
It is, but hopefully today there's been enough pressure on this whole state. It's gone all the way up to the governor, I believe, for them to do something and change the outcome.
Yeah.
You can see people in the courthouse looking down at us.
Yeah.
They know they're being watched. And you know what? Sunlight is the best disinfectant, as they say.
I wonder how many gatherings they have here.
So I'm going to put the mic over here on the podium. So when we're ready to speak, we'll have at least the stream of that. Put this right here.
Musician or is it the senator? Right, and we make sure to get some more pictures there.
You guys are getting stories. You guys are gathering stories.
Yeah, well, if you
sure
to
can.
some
Yeah, actually, that's perfect.
be part of this and have your own story or just be part of it, we got email, phone number, email, name.
Okay.
But we're gonna be doing a speech
Yeah, just
too, and get with Jesse.
Who's Jesse? Okay.
If you want to give a little story, Miss Romy's doing stories as well.
Hello.
So right now we just want to give a speech of how it all came about.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll write my number
Okay,
down. There.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm an attorney. I'm representing a couple clients who've had their kids taken by DCF.
Are you?
I'm in Pensacola.
Well, we need to get your information for sure.
Please write your number down.
Mhm.
Are you Michelle? I'm Roman.
Here, go ahead and put your information down. And Michelle Jernigan? Oh, come here.
Yes, I know. We got to give her hugs. All right, it is 8:31, and I like to be prompt. So we said 8:30 we would get started, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. I want to thank everyone for being here. Can you all hear me okay? Excellent. Anyone invited to come up and speak, please be aware you will need to speak up. I've got a bit of a list here. Someone snagged my paper. Where'd it go?
I think it's under Cindy.
Okay, there we go. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica Prescott, online as Key West Jess, originally out of Monroe County. I thank Santa Rosa County citizens for welcoming me here. I will be here for a while, bought a property here, and I plan to stay and continue to help with this type of legislative change. I want to thank a few people out there. John Davidson with Broken Truth TV. He set up freekenlee.com. He's done a ton of articles. He's been on a ton of different television shows for us, podcasts for us. I also want to give a shout out to someone who's not here, and that is attorney Tom Renz. He's a very, very good friend of mine. He got about it. So want to give him that heads up. I also want to give a shout out to Dale Richardson. He's actually the podcaster that had Joy on his show. She was the only voice we were able to use from that podcast he did. So I'm actually live streaming with him right now. He's a Canadian podcaster, but he felt that this was very important. So I wanted to give him that access for a live feed also, and a shout out there. We've also got Nate DiPietro from Freedom, Florida. He's been phenomenal. Are you there? There you are. We're going to pull you up here to speak here soon too. Thank you, Nate. Dr. Jim Thorpe, he ran the rally and the prayer this morning. Thank you so much. Dr. Jim Thorpe is a local doctor and an advocate for medical freedom.
We've also got Cindy Smith, who is Cindy Smith's here. She'll be speaking nursing, mental health, and law enforcement. And Sherry Chapman, 43-year-long nurse.
Our local mentors.
We've also got a couple candidates. I only know of 2 that are here. So if there's another that I am missing, I would love for you to step up here and give us your name. I've got 2 U.S. candidates for Congress running. District 1, my friend John Frankman. Thank you for being here today. And we've got another gentleman that's planning to announce his run for the same position, Douglas Chico. There you go, in the back. There you go. Did we have Rachel come or Michelle? Yes, Rachel. Rachel is also running for governor. Rachel, tell me your last name. I'm sorry. Rodriguez. Rachel Rodriguez running for governor. Our female candidate. Thank you, Rachel, for being here. Do we have anyone else? Okay, excellent. Well, I want to thank you guys all for being here. I'm going to hand this right over to John Davidson. John, if you'd come on up and just tell us a little bit about your journey and setting this all up for us, and take it away. Thank you.
Hey guys, so I started out, don't hang up on me, but I started out at CNN about 25 years ago, and I apologize. It used to be cool, but now, sorry. So I got involved in this when Rachel sent me a link to a Twitter post about what was happening to Kenlee and Joy. And, you know, you see the video, and it's so shocking. You can't believe that they were smiling. They were enjoying the experience. They were gleeful about it, and that's problematic. That should be the most grave experience, to take a child at gunpoint from her mother. Yet they were glib. It was all fun and games. They went and got chicken nuggets afterwards. This whole thing was so preposterous that I had to investigate, and the more I looked, I kept expecting to see, okay, there must have been bruises, or there must have been something wrong with the child that the mother could have done. But after covering COVID and hospital protocols that killed people and vaccine injuries that go unreported, denial of hospitals that there's any sort of adverse events to drugs that are expensive and profitable, I realized this was another one of those cases. So it's the same demon, just a different face. So I felt that this was important for me to just start to dispel the probable cause that was used to take the child. The doctor said that the drugs were different. The social worker said, no, the Orkambi that the child had an adverse reaction to had nothing to do with Trikafta, the $300,000 per year drug that they wanted to put the kid on. Unfortunately, they do have similar ingredients, identical ingredients, in some instances, not all. But it's important to know that a parent has the right to be concerned about a medication they put in their body, especially one with a black box warning. That's the FDA's most stringent warning possible. They said that the child was going to need a lung transplant. You get into that video, do you see a child on oxygen? Do you see blue lips? Do you see any sort of hypoxia where she was short on oxygen? No, you don't see any of that. Do you see her on O2? No, you don't see any of that. You see a child that's not even coughing. So how did she need a lung transplant? That was false. Again, their probable cause to initiate the entire thing was fraud. There should be punishment in the courtroom when you bring that sort of information to the court and say, oh, this child needs a lung transplant, when it's provably false that she doesn't. Anyone with eyes could see it. And that's what they don't want you to do. They want to wrap everything up in esoteric legal terms so that you can't identify the truth with what you see and hear with your own eyes. That is a big problem with our court system, and that's a big problem with everything, our medical system. This is a truly interesting case because it intersects so many problems: medical freedom, parental rights, the legal system, the drug and pharmaceutical connections with organizations like the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation that made $4 billion off this drug. CF Foundation helps set the standard of care for what drugs are prescribed by CF clinics. They help fund these CF clinics. And guess what? If you're a venture capitalist and you know that there's 80,000 CF patients in the country and each one of them is going to pay you $300,000 per year, is that going to affect your bias at all when you set standard of care? Maybe a little? Just say it.
More than a little.
So now you've got the situation up there where a judge is about to declare nuclear war on a family based on fraudulent information, and the system is so twisted that you can't bring obvious truth to light in that room anymore. But hopefully today, all of you being here, all of the attention that's been placed on this case nationwide is going to change the course of this case. And I'm so grateful that all of you are here. I'm grateful for Jess and you, Roma, and everybody, and Clinton and Dr. Thorpe and Rachel and everyone that's participating in this experience. That's how we make change. And after so many years of struggling with the other issues, it's nice to have this team that we have built to come together and fight for what's right. And you never separate a mother from a child. That's just a violation of nature, frankly. And I can't imagine, like you guys, when I saw that video, how calm Joy was throughout that experience. I truly thought that that video was going to end completely differently when I first saw it. What an incredible amount of restraint that she had and has had for 2 years. And then they make up diagnoses of Munchausen by proxy without ever talking to her. That is a declaration of war when you make that diagnosis. It is the most horrible diagnosis you can place on a mother. It's the equivalent of calling someone a Nazi. You don't do that unless you have true evidence. And that nurse practitioner, we should go after her license because she never, ever should have made that diagnosis.
Amen.
She never even talked to the she never even talked to the primary doctor, Dr. Rudman. That is, I believe, Joy's primary doctor. So how do you do that? How do you make that diagnosis when you have no evidence other than just what one doctor at a Pensacola hospital says? We need to investigate that. Did that doctor have some sort of background connection to DCF that she shouldn't have, maybe, that was not normal? And I say that because in the video, if you watch, when the social worker is standing out front, she says, "This came down from higher than me." Who did that? I want that information. And that's the kind of information that they don't like us to get because they seal everything in these courts. They make it where you can't speak. They gagged a mother when they tried to take her, or they did take her child. Now, what is the first thing a rapist does? He covers your mouth. We can't allow this to continue. Thank you all so much for being here. Jess, who's next?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we'd like to hear from Nate I'm sorry, Nate, I'm going to botch that last name up. DiPietro. So Nate is with Freedom Florida, definitely an advocate for medical freedom. Come on up, Nate.
And he is also with the West Florida Young Republicans.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being out here. I am Nathan DiPietro, the Vice President of the West Florida Young Republicans. And one thing that I really want to address here is that this is a very complicated case to a lot of people at home watching. A lot of people on the news are wondering, and in the comment sections of, Facebook and social media are wondering what's really the issue with this case here. There's a lot to it. But let me just boil it down to what we actually know. Facts that we know about this specific case. First off, anybody who wants to know about this case, I encourage you and challenge you, go watch the body cam footage. Just go watch that body cam footage. Let me know after you watch that if you notice what kind of conduct the Department of Children and Families workers displayed when they took away a child from her mother. It was extremely unprofessional. Regardless of whether the mother was guilty or innocent, it was extremely unprofessional. Secondly, one thing that was said on that body cam footage by the DCF workers, that we would take your child for up to 12 months. That's almost 2 years later now. Also, one thing that the DCF workers said is that when you get the petition, you'll see what else they're accusing you of, why they're taking your child away. Well, that says to me, you should have, if you're going to take someone's child away, you should have a list of exactly why, to hand to them, a warrant really, to give to the mother, to say, we're taking your child away for this specific purpose. And another thing, I want to actually applaud the police officers involved in this case that were at the scene that day for something specific. And that is that they actually asked to enter the home. Now, why do you ask to enter a home? Because if there's a warrant, or if there is a medical emergency or probable cause, you don't have to ask to go into the home. You don't need that. You just go in because you know that you have to do it. But they asked because they knew that they needed the permission of the homeowner in order to enter the home. But there was no warrant, to my knowledge, that was shown that day. So in other words, that's a big red flag right there. So they did what they were supposed to. The social workers do not appear to have done that. Also, Florida statute in chapter 918 dot 0157 says that anyone who is threatened with at least with over 6 months in state prison has the right to a jury trial. Anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a murderer, a rapist, the worst of the worst. You have a right to a jury trial among your peers so that you would have a fair trial. Now, 6 months in prison doesn't seem like a lot compared to taking your child away. I think any parent, I don't know any parent who wouldn't rather have 6 months in state prison as opposed to having their child taken away from forever. And that's one thing that we need to change in Florida law. This is more than just this specific case here we're talking about. We're talking about a reform that needs to happen to say that any child that is taken away, that most fundamental right, the most fundamental relationship between a parent and their child, you need to have a warrant to take that child away, and you need to have a jury trial that says this person is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And those things this case doesn't have. She is going to have her child potentially taken away from her, all without a jury trial, and all without due process in that situation. Now you might say, well, what else is wrong with this case? And now I would say, again, a lot of us only know about this case secondhand. We have not been able to hear from the mother directly. In fact, like was mentioned earlier, when she did actually go onto a podcast and share her story, she said she shared what she was going through and all of the issues with this case. And after that, a judge put a gag order on her. Now, I don't know how many of you know our Florida State Constitution or have read it. It's a very long document. But the rights that are presented in our Florida State Constitution are actually, in some cases, stronger than our U.S. Constitution, and specifically on the right to freedom of speech. Our state constitution says that, quote, every person may speak on all subjects, and no law shall be passed to restrain the liberty of speech. So I would ask, what other section of the state constitution contradicts that and says that a judge can put a gag order on a mother for simply sharing her story? And those are basic things that are very, very well laid out facts of this case. And no one disputes those. And so, again, if you're questioning where we are on this case, go watch the body cam footage. Second, we need a major reform in our state law to say that anyone who has their child taken away from them must have a jury trial in order to have that happen. And then finally, an unconstitutional gag order taking away a citizen's right to free speech without due process of law is also unconstitutional, and it should not be tolerated. So with that, those are what we as the West Florida Young Republicans stand for fundamental freedoms, that even if this is the worst of the worst mother, which I don't see that in this case, but even if, that she still deserves the fundamental due process rights given to any person accused of a crime. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate, with Freedom Florida. Next, I want to bring on Cindy Smith and Sherry Chapman. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I've been with Joy for over a year, and I'm the one that actually was speaking out for her after her gag order and before her gag order. And they actually used some of the things that I did against her in court. So this is a very big, serious issue, and we want to fight this reform at a legislation level and change this, because this is not right. So I greatly want to appreciate everyone for coming and standing up for these families. There is people out there that are the Pattersons trying to regain access back to their children, and they're still fighting that appeal as of today. Families across Northwest Florida and throughout the state of Florida are coming forward with serious escalating concerns regarding the practices of the Florida Department of Children, Child Protection Team, and Families Network, FFN. These concerns extend far beyond medical freedom and reveal a failure that are harming children, families, foster parents, even professionals with the system. I've been involved in this case for a year and many others that have come forward in disturbing details that has taken place, destroying the families throughout our panhandle state and our nation. Parents, grandparents, former foster families, current foster parents, and whistleblowers describe a system that has become weaponized rather than protect one that too often prioritizes agency narratives over truth and accountability and the best interests of the children. Families who advocate for their children question medical or placement decisions or request second opinions report retaliation, mischaracterization, and unnecessary removals. As a lifelong public servant with years of experience in law enforcement and nursing, I've worked with systems designed to protect the people at their most vulnerable. What I'm witnessing now with DCF, CPT, and other agencies is devastating, deeply alarming. The failures are not isolated, they are systematic. I have personally reviewed court records, medical documentation, case files, and first-hand accounts showing false or misleading medical information, improperly written documentation, as was mentioned here earlier today, and conclusion that not align with established medical standards or the child's actual condition. Even more troubling, this information is frequently accepted into our court without proper oversight. To see medical professionals whose duty is to protect and heal and allow inaccurate or misleading documentation to me used to justify family separation sickens me to my core. These are not harmless errors. These actions permanently alter lives of our children and families. Families across Florida, Panhandle, and the state report that critical evidence, medical records, expert opinions, witness statements, and unification documentation is excluded, minimized, or ignored in the court proceedings. And we are seeing that as of today. What is documented on paper often looks different from what actually occurred. Eyewitnesses who attend hearings and review files observe facts being reshaped to fit their narrative. While evidence never reaches the judge, the decisions are being driven by their own system. Parents who challenge false claims of due process violations report being silenced through gag orders, preventing them by speaking publicly about their own cases. These actions strip parents of their ability to advocate for their children and raise serious constitutional concerns regarding parental rights, free speech, and due process. Across Florida, families are fighting legal battles to reunite their children based on allegations that collapse under proper review, yet never fairly examined. Whistleblowers from DCF and related agencies are now coming forward, many on the inside. Their accounts reveal failures, oversight, pressure to confirm, and retaliation against those who speak up. These individuals deserve protection, not punishment. This is no longer a child welfare issue. It's a mental health crisis affecting families statewide. Children suffer from trauma, unnecessary separation, with parents endure emotional, psychological, and financial devastation attempting to reunite their families. Let me be clear. There are cases where children genuinely need protection and alternative placement. No one disputes that. However, growing number of false or mishandled cases is doing more harm than good, eroding trust in the system meant to protect the children. We're calling on a reform, independent investigation into DCF, CPT, and Families First Network, strong whistleblower protection, transparent review of medical documentation and court procedures, restoration of due process, parental rights, legislation reform, restore checks and balances. Oversight ensures the system deserves not unchecked authority. We are sounding an alarm here in Florida Panhandle and across our state. This is not a bipartisan issue. This is a human right issue. We certainly thank for the families. We want to thank you for the foster families, the parents, the whistleblowers, medical professionals, and legal advocates, faith leaders, and the concerned citizens who have been encouraged to come forward. We are helping to protect the children and preserve the families and shine a light where it's desperately needed. We thank you and very much appreciate it and very grateful for what's happening here today. And we continue to fight, and we're going to continue to fight and make a difference.
For more than a year, community advocate Cindy Smith and I have worked closely with Joy Zaraf as she has fought to reunite with her daughter, Kenlee. As more information came to light, serious concerns emerged regarding the handling of Kenlee's case by the Department of Children and Families. After reviewing extensive medical records, available DCF documents, and attending family court proceedings, advocates determined that Kenlee was removed without evidence of imminent danger or medical neglect. Joy Zaraf never abused, neglected, or denied medical treatment for her daughter. Kenlee was never in immediate danger. Claims of speculation of Kenlee needing a lung transplant were obviously way too premature. As are the claims of imminent danger in the video. Her abduction indicates a small child in no acute respiratory distress and has been almost 2 years without this critical medication, Trikafta, not even given in the hospital. Nor was it ordered on her discharge. Nor was it even started for almost 3 months after her removal and still against her mother's wishes. Ms. Smith and I have elevated these concerns to Senator Don Gates, whose office has been engaged in reviewing the case. Carrie Fitzer has been a vital champion in advocating for Kenlee's rights at the top level, and Representative Bowles has also committed to assist. Florida Medical Freedom Act of 2023, along with Florida Statute Title 5, Chapter 39, governing children welfare proceedings, directly contradict the action that was taken by DCF in this case. Under Florida law, DCF is not authorized to remove children absent of immediate danger or verified neglect, which in this case did not happen. Multiple parental and constitutional rights were clearly violated. 2 years have been stolen from this family. Loss of the first tooth, loss of first days at school. Kenlee and her family deserve immediate reunification. I have confidence in Judge Duncan's fairness and urge swift action to bring this case to a lawful conclusion. Beyond this individual's case, evidence indicates and warns us of broader patterns affecting families across the Tri-County area, which is Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, and Escambia County. Children are being removed without legal cause, while families are left without meaningful reunification efforts. Parents now live in fear that legitimate medical conditions or plausible injuries could result in the removal of their child. According to its own public website, Northwest Florida Families Network, who is the vendor for DCF in our area, lists goals of completing 30 adoptions per month. That is 365 adoptions out of our county, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Where are they getting these children from? At the same time, recent child fatalities in the region raise questions about whether resources are being appropriately directed to cases involving genuine danger. Advocates are calling for immediate oversight and accountability with the child welfare system of Florida to ensure children are not removed in violation of Florida law and that reunification remains the primary goal whenever a child is taken. While recognizing DCF's vital role in protecting children from abuse and gross neglect, advocates stress that overreach harms family and undermines public trust. Our hope is that this ends today for the Zaraf family. 。 No family in Florida should endure what they have endured. Advocates also announced the plan to pursue legislation known as Kenlee's Law, designed to prevent DCF overreach involving medical complex children while reinforcing parental rights and medical freedom. Special thanks need to be extended to Jess Prescott and Romy White for their efforts in advancing all the media coverage and Facebook. Kenlee was admitted on 2/17/23, and she was discharged to go home on 2/27/24. Lesson no tricaffa ordered. This vital, vital medicine. This, people, can happen to any of us. Let's let our legislation hear our voice and not let this die. It's your grandchildren, my grandchildren, and great-grandchildren who are at risk. Thank you.
You want to introduce our two doctors? Thank you, Dr.
So I just want to introduce Dr. James Thorpe. He has been a major source of information during this medical freedom movement that's really grown in the last 6 years. And I'm so honored to be able to introduce him, Dr. Thorpe. I'd like you to come. He's also a local to Pensacola, by the way. So come on over and speak.
So my name is Dr. James A. Thorpe. I'm an MD physician. I've been in practice for over 46 years now. I'm still practicing. I'm experienced board certified in obstetrics and gynecology, subspecialty of maternal fetal medicine, also known as high-risk obstetrics. So I'm here I'll keep it short because otherwise I could go on for hours being so active in this movement. But let's understand, let's be clear. This is not a battle against flesh and blood. What is it? This is a spiritual battle of Satan in municipalities. It's exactly what Paul said. I want to make it very clear that this is a horrible injustice. I've never seen anything like this in my life. You know, should it surprise me? No, after they mandated a vaccine, COVID-19, that has probably killed, by best estimates, 800,000 Americans alone, and injured 33 times that. Yet they're still pushing it. Your government, your doctors. I have zero respect for doctors anymore. They flunked. They lost all their credibility. I respect attorneys and used car salesmen more than doctors. I do. I do. And so, you know, let's talk about Chi-Feftra. Look it up. Look it up. It's an $8 billion they've made off this. There's not a lot of data. It's got a black box warning, and I know that you don't know what that means, but I know what that means as a physician. It's the harshest, most dangerous warning the CDC and FDA can put on a medication. This allegation, it's not an allegation, it's gaslighting. And it's what the pediatricians do for vaccines. They gaslight their patients that have vaccine hesitancy. Joy was gaslit by the doctor, not a doctor, a nurse practitioner, that in essence discussed the diagnosis a horrible, horrible permanent red mark of von Munchausen's by proxy. There was no evidence of that. As a physician, I looked at the video very carefully. I didn't see an undernourished child. I didn't see a sick child requiring oxygen to breathe. No blue lips. That child was happy, looked healthy, and it was an abomination. This is made up. This is a continuation of Satan's plan to attack the family. These institutions, these public institutions, the schools, the hospitals, the doctors, they're all on a mission to destroy the family, kill as many of the preborn children as possible, and then actually celebrate it by lighting up a bridge when they have now the legal right to not only abort a baby at term, but kill the baby after birth in New York City, and this is celebrated. This is the death cult that we live in, and this is exactly what Satan is going after. Confusion of gender, horrible attacks of the family, separating God's fabric of his sons and daughters, the family. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. If you want to know more or contact me, my website is drjamesthorpe.com. No E on the Thorpe. Thank you. Thank you.
Freedom movement was looking at peer-reviewed medical science studies that were fraudulent, okay? And the amount of fraud going on around this country, not in science and in medical science for the sake of profit, but in so many other areas. And now we're seeing at how CPS is profited by taking children is absolutely, it's criminal and it's a destruction of democracy. And this case is so representative of that because what do we see on that video? Lie after lie after lie done to justify the legal abduction of a child from its family, from her family, okay? And that, like this Munchausen diagnosis by proxy, I'd like to know, would any psychologist or psychiatrist in the entire country support diagnosis of any kind, much less present or meeting the patient? Okay, we all know that that's ridiculous. Yet that was the justification used to take a child. Now let me add to this. You know, I just retweeted a case of an 11-year-old girl that died in Brazil because that family was told CPS was going to come if you don't give her the mRNA vaccine. So here, an experimental and dangerous drug
as we found out, the most dangerous in history, forced on a child for which it will do no benefit. That child came home tired because at school, the authorities told her, you'll lose your parents if you don't take this. She died a few days later, okay? But this is also how democracy dies. Because if any of us knows that if we don't do what a larger corporate interest making billions of dollars off of yet another dangerous drug is going to force on our children, we don't have rights. Okay, so this is why you represent, each of you, a million other parents in America. Okay, because once you can take family away, it's no different than the SS. I realize people always make Nazi references, but I don't know what could be more of a concern than the SS showing up at your door and taking your kids. Okay, and that's where I want to leave you, because this is child abuse. You know, Kenlee's been abused, the parents have been abused, but you know what I really think about a lot is her sister. I can't imagine that little girl watching her best friend, her playmate, okay, who she adores. I know relationships among sisters or little girls, right? I observe it all the time. Taken away by strangers, to not be seen in the family again. This is a horrible here now. Let this be the beginning of ending this in America. Thank you.
Question. Could you tell them what happened with the Canadian shelters?
Well, okay, yeah, let me, one reason I do see this as a threat on democracy is that we saw that trucker protest in Canada. And so the first thing they did was freeze bank accounts eventually, right? But those truckers still stood up against that. My understanding of what actually broke that protest was that the Canadian government started letting known that if children were present, because a lot of people brought their kids and the parents were arrested, those children were going into custody. And people became very afraid that if you're part of this protest, right, they could come arrest both parents, take your kids away. Okay, and so that's my understanding what broke that protest. So that really is a threat on democracy. If you can get involved in a political movement that can then result in you being deemed an unfit parent, you know, Gulag style in the old Soviet Union, right? Then we don't have rights. Thank you, John. Sure.
Thanks so much.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, you guys, we won't keep you here much longer, but I wanted to make a couple announcements. Number one, Romy White, you broke this on Santa Rosa News, South Santa Rosa News Facebook page. That's how it started to go viral here locally. Few of us got onto X and really got the attention of some lawmakers and podcasters. So I really wanted to thank you. Romy has, and she has been tasked with trying to vet them all. And she's heard from a lot of people. So watch out for Romy. Also, we have a sign-up sheet. If you have a case that you feel you've been wronged, if you are a whistleblower within law enforcement, DCF, guardian ad litems, especially locally, please write this down. We will get back to you. Many of you may not know that yesterday was Joy Zerof's birthday. She had to celebrate her birthday preparing for court today. During the week, I'll just give you a little insight. She called me and said, I'm with my daughter. We're at Express. I'm shopping for pants for court. And I feel like I can't even justify a pair of pants. And I had to tell her, it's your birthday and it's for court. Buy the damn pants. This poor girl is so traumatized that she can't even begin to heal yet. And yet, when you're in her presence, you know that she's a loving, caring, regular person just like you and me. So we are praying for her. I did not buy her balloons and cake. We didn't want her to come home today just in case with celebratory things. But we're praying for her big time. I also want to make one last shout out to Michelle Jernigan, who's standing in the back. She recently lost her child in a very similar situation. And if you're not following her on Facebook, it will break your heart. Here for joy that she'll be in that same boat. So I pray for your child, and we're praying for Joe and Kenlee, and I want to thank you all for being here today. Now we will be wrapping this up. We're allowed to go to the second floor where the hearing is being done, but we have to be extremely quiet and respectful. Thank you guys very much.
Let me say one thing.
Sure.
I do also want to point out that if you would like to help Joy with her legal counsel, because that's pretty expensive, and I also want to make sure we thank We the Patriots and Brian Festa, an attorney,
Yes.
who absolutely got this national attention. I want to thank Tom Renz. I want to thank Mike Denow at OAN for helping get this message out there, and Dale Richardson, and a lot of the great podcasters, alternative media helped bring this to the front of the attention of the governor.
Yeah.
So thank you all, and if you want to donate to Joy personally, you can go to freekenlee.com, because she had to pay for trips to see her daughter every
2 weeks.
every 2 weeks in Jacksonville.
And we may have to do an appeal.
Yeah, and so
We don't know. We don't know.
today, I think the goal was to terminate her parental rights,
Yeah.
but that was before all of you. So let's see what sunlight does to the situation. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
We've got Sherry's able to answer a couple questions, especially the one that you just had.
Yeah, today either the judge will grant to terminate parental rights. He could extend to another day. He could wait and make a decision for multiple days, or could deny the state to terminate her parental rights and go through the reunification program. I personally hope that he will just end this case and say, go get your daughter.
Yeah.
But that may be a far reach as long as this has been going on. But those are the options before the judge today. And actually, it is ultimately the judge that makes that decision. And as someone said earlier, having a trial jury when your child is taken away from you, of your peers, is extremely important, because you put it on one person to make all the decisions. And does he have all the information from both sides? Many of these parents have been denied to submit some of their information because the attorney on the other side will try to have it kicked out. When children are involved, that is not right. All the evidence, no matter who likes it, who doesn't like it, should be in that courtroom for the jury to hear. So that is where we are today. We need everybody to sign up to help. We're going to be doing legislation, trying to get Kenlee's law passed. And there's also a group that we're going tomorrow to Tallahassee for another bill that hopefully will get passed on children being taken without the right to have a second opinion, because many of these children have diseases that are not known until they part of their criteria in our area. If your child goes to the emergency room with a break, whether it's justified or not, or if there are bruises, which can be caused for many reasons, like toddlers walking under the age of 5, you are a victim or can become a victim of DCF. That's how easy it is. So please sign up. Please help us. It's gonna take the community to get this legislation passed. And thank you so much.
Is that House Bill 173?
Yeah. Yeah.
House Bill 173.
House Bill 173.
Tomorrow we gotta be there.
What's that?
130.
Yeah, I want to make one more announcement, and then we're going to ask a couple more people to come up. Richie and Tamra. You guys raise your hands. Richie and Tamra. These guys owned Real Legend Fishing Charters. They have a Facebook page. They have decided on their own to create a raffle. All money will be donated to Joy's legal funds, and it will win you a trip for 6 on their gorgeous fishing boat out of Destin, Florida. So, yeah. So please visit Real Legend Fishing Charters on Facebook if you'd like to get involved in that. What's the Venmo account? At Riddle39. At Riddle39, if you want to Venmo a donation there. We're going to go ahead and invite any elected officials or candidates that showed up today. If anyone would like to come up and speak, I'd like to offer our ladies first. Rachel, come on up. Hi, good morning. My name is Rachel Rodriguez, and as Jess said, I am running for governor here in the state of Florida. I'm really impressed by all of you. About 250 years ago, some pretty smart guys made the point that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And that's what you guys are doing today. I learned about this case about 2 months ago, and at that time, there wasn't enough publicity on it. And when I talked to Joy, I told her, unfortunately, as a litigator, I can't say that you're going to get justice or that truth is going to prevail in the court system. I wish I didn't have to say that, but that's my experience as a lawyer. And so I said, what you really need is for people to see what's happening. And thanks to all of you and others that are streaming and those who have been reposting this story, John, others who have investigated, this is now not quiet. It's not a private affair behind court walls. And that's what we have to do. And I was also thinking about what are some of the fundamental issues here? Why is this allowed to occur? And I think I want to add to what Nathan was saying, not just the due process. I think we need to go further than that and say, we can start in Florida as a constitutional amendment, that there is no right by the state to take away parental rights permanently. In other words, that a hearing like this would never take place. We understand that the living God gives the rights to parents with the responsibilities to take care of their kids. Amen. And to nurture their kids, and to show them how to fear God. So if we say as a state, you know what, we recognize we don't even have the authority to take away that. It's not ours to give, we can't take it away. Then in that case, we take away incentives. And of course, there's always going to be an issue where there is, I mean, sin is ubiquitous. We're going to see issues where children are in need, but it's the community that needs to pay attention to that. We need to step up and say, you know, I'm going to take care of that child. I already know that child. I'm not a stranger. And I'm not going to take financial incentives for that. That's what God's people do. That's what community does. I'm a mom. I have 3 children. And also, wow, it was March of 2024 as well. My son ended up with appendicitis, and fortunately it burst. God alone saved his life. He was 5 at the time, and I was in the hospital. And so I saw firsthand, I had been working for the last 5 years on, along with Jim Thorpe and others, on the COVID tyranny. So I've been fighting all of that, and several years in, my son ends up in the hospital. So I know everything that's going on in the hospitals. It was a very scary time. But I saw what happened there. A surgeon actually put his finger in my face and said he didn't trust me as a parent, and he was thinking about sending this up to risk management. Of course, he already knew I was a litigator, so that was a bit weird. But I could see in that moment I was being baited as a mother with my child whose life was in the balance. I was being baited as a mother to respond in a way that could then be put into a record as somehow mentally unfit. I could see it. That's what's happening. And that's the incentive. We've got to stop that. So if we take away the idea that the state has any right to sever that bond, I think that's a very good start. Yes. Anyways, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all. Again, applaud yourselves. Thank you for being here and caring.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, and my dear friend John Frankman, running for District 1 Congress, he did not want to speak, but I'm asking him to come on up here. Come on up, John. Thank you so much.
Thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the wonderful people here who are out here who are fighting for parental rights. Thank you for Cindy Smith. Thank you for Jess. So many friends I have. And a lot of people have already said a number of amazing things. And this is a parental rights issue. We understand that this is a spiritual battle. And I really want to focus on that fact that it's a spiritual battle. So if you'll pray with me, I think that's the best thing we can do right now. So please join me in prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, watch over Joy Zenley, watch over Judge Duncan. We pray that your Holy Spirit might be in the courthouse this day, and that your justice, you are the God of justice, that you might bring justice to this case. You love the family as you made us, and that is the most basic foundation of society. And Lord Jesus Christ, we ask that you might strengthen the family, that you might help us in this attack, these demonic forces that are trying to break down the family with so many different things. And we ask, God, that you might allow for Zenlee to come back with her mother, Joy, that you might... Kenlee might help Kenlee get back with Joy, and that you might move the heart of Judge Duncan, so that we might have this outcome. And we ask, Lord Jesus Christ, to protect our nation, watch over us against all the evil forces that are attacking us right now, especially that unit of the family. Help us to push for legislation and other checks and balances later on that will make it so this never happens again, that no other families ever have to go through this disgusting thing that's happening. And we know that without you, we are nothing, and we need you, Lord Jesus Christ. So come to our country, help invigorate our culture. Politics isn't the only thing that's going to win it. We need you, Jesus Christ. This is a spiritual battle. So watch for us, protect us, send your Holy Spirit upon us this day, and make this prayer through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome to join us upstairs. We've got to be very, very quiet. Otherwise, feel free to talk among yourselves, share your stories. And again, please come up here and sign up if you would like to be contacted after this. Thank you. I have mics up here that belong to anybody.
I'm the fuzzy one.
Thank you guys for watching. We're going to stick around, I think, and just keep the live stream going as long as my battery lasts. So thank you.
Yeah, without that part, you wanted to teach you. Yeah. I know. We hold on.
I just want to thank you again for coming all of this way, and also you did such an exemplary job. Hey, how you doing?
Nobody can beat.
Yes, sir. And I think he's done it. Okay.
Absolutely. Hey, so
That's right.
he was running against AJ.
I don't know if anybody's. It's like
What she said. So
yeah. My attorney,
that's really that's the you know
So I got
I don't know. I'd like to. I just barely missed it. You know what I mean? I've been fighting for.
So I mean, maybe I don't know your case, but
this is amazing. Yeah.
I've been in court with them.
You have?
Yeah, I've seen.
I made art and
Well, yeah. So it was given to Duncan because I have work.
there's a bit of but Brian is the attorney. She needs an attorney also. Can I talk to her about Brian Vesta?
Well, Brian won't, he doesn't practice in.
That advocacy group can understand go vet her situation.
Oh, do you?
Her English is getting so much better.
Okay. A lot of people see me.
Need to stand on a lot of things.
She got her hands up, but then we.
That's a lot.
How are you? Well, I'm thinking that if you want.
And it really did. I got a cast iron stomach. It made it. I just watched.
there is a separate tier. See what I'm saying? Like a separate tier, which is there is a separation
And
age out, and that's it. But you see what I'm saying? And then it allows people to
Cindy, what's going on?
All these people are coming out with similar stories. Everyone is different. Everyone is special. You know, all of them represent families.
that's what I'm praying.
Separated.
I would see if they were violent. See if like violent.
Yeah, man.
John, I'm Levi.
Levi,
I'm
nice to
with
meet you.
Freedom Man. We
Okay.
had a similar situation happen.
Do you want to talk about it on camera?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So my wife and I, it was actually in Idaho when it happened. It was the Save Baby Cyrus story.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you just talk about what you did? And
Sure.
we're live streaming right now, so.
Right on. Yeah, we're just here to support Joy because we know what happened. It's probably the worst thing that can happen to a parent. I mean, what happened was back in Idaho was 4 years ago.
Right.
But if you look it up, it's SaveBabyCyrus.com. There's a Facebook page too. But it's the same thing that happened. And the worst thing that a parent can endure.
Did you get your child back?
We did. Thankfully, we were politically involved in the area. We actually had a significant figure that helped. He was running for governor in Idaho. His name was Ammon Bundy.
Okay.
And he helped. And the next day after our child was taken, there was over 400 people that stood up at the hospital. So it was a pretty large case. Without that public pressure, we wouldn't have had our son back.
How long was your son taking?
He was taken for 7 days. He was given back to us on a Friday. Yeah.
You know, and you think Idaho would be better about it? You know,
True.
say Oregon or whatever. Fine.
True. Yeah. A lot of the states that you think are red states, there's so much establishment involved there. Even the governor there is Brad Little. There's no way he would get involved with anything like this.
Right. It's incredible though you got it back. I mean, especially so fast, and that kind of speaks to the importance of immediate action. You know, with Joy, she didn't have the network that you've had.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I've been thinking about this too. It's like almost people might need to live in communities that they trust.
Yeah.
Where you have to have backup. And luckily, she's got this crowd now that's come out. But
Amen. Yeah.
it's taken 2 years.
It's way too long.
That's insanity.
It is insane. And when it's gone that far, it's hard to come back from that. The only thing that can do it is, like you said, the public pressure, people showing up, even calling in, emailing in, and putting pressure, because without that, they don't fear us. I mean, you have to have a pressure on them to do the right thing.
So your website is so the people.
Yes. So it's freedomman.org, or there's also, that's the organization that we have. It's our political organization is Freedom Man. And then also it's, if you want to hear about Cyrus's story, that's my son who was taken. It is SaveBabyCyrus.com.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, this story was so preposterous. It made me leave a different state to come here and actually observe it.
Wow.
And in a week and a half, we put together the public relations campaign, the website.
Wow.
And I did a marathon of Joe's interviews with psychiatrists and whistleblowers and things like that. And
Wow.
It's been, not everybody has access to public pressure.
That's right.
And it was something that I had a specific skill for. And, it sounds like you had a network too. It's so important to have your own networks.
It is.
If you don't have that, you might want to choose wisely where you live. Because, I mean, Now, who would have thought this in red
It's true.
would occur? But is it necessarily left or right issue?
Um, honestly, it's an issue for everyone to get involved with because I've seen people on both sides that it's happened to, and I've seen people on both sides have the same situation.
Right.
So I totally agree with you on that.
So yeah, it's a challenge to investigate and get involved because the last thing you want to do is support the wrong side.
Yeah.
When it comes to a child's life.
Sure.
But the experience that I've had with medical professionals in and outside of the government, it, like I said, it's a same demon, just a different face.
100%.
And now, did you travel from Idaho or did you move here?
So we moved here. We live in Orlando now, the Orlando area. Yeah. So I drove up from the Orlando area to be here, but we moved here shortly after it happened. So actually, it's funny.
You fled.
Yeah, it was a mixture of both. Actually, that's 100% right. So my wife's family had already been in the process of moving to Florida ahead of time. They wanted to be here. And then when that situation happened, as soon as our case was dismissed because of the public pressure, then it was about 3 days later, we packed up and moved here.
Wow. Now, how do you feel about the idea that once you have any sort of DHS or you're always at risk?
Yeah.
Even though you've been exonerated.
Yeah.
Joy had 2 complaints before, similar situation or just confusion within the hospital system. They were easily cleared up, but they still use it against her in a court of law. That's so unfair. What do you think about that?
It's terrible. They mark you like a criminal, and they will actually put on your record what had happened, and then you have a mark on your record just for being a parent, right? It's absolutely terrible. So you'll have that, and people will be able to see it, in your background checks, all that kind of stuff. And it shouldn't happen. That's absolutely terrible.
Now, in Joy's case, she actually had a class 2 background check for the state of Florida because she's a medical professional. She's a licensed massage therapist.
Wow.
So her background check was clean. So, or relatively clean. I mean, I think she had an infarction or something when she was in high school or something, but it's not anything at all. It's a misdemeanor, right?
Right.
So it's not fair.
No, it's not. Not at all. That's terrible. They mark you like a felon. It's crazy.
It is. And, the result is the state takes children. Now they're looking at us from up there.
Yep.
I wonder if that's influencing their, decision making. I mean, I guess all your stuff was sealed too. Did you have a gag order?
Oh yeah, yeah. So actually, the person who founded Freedom Man is my father-in-law. So he actually was kind of like our spokesperson. Thankfully, he was very politically involved too. He ran for state legislator in Idaho and everything. So he was very involved as well. But he spoke for us because my wife and I both had a gag order, just like Joy. And that's the worst thing you can do is because they try to silence what's going on in there because they don't want the public to know. Because if the public knew everything that was going on in there, they'd be outraged because it can happen to anybody.
That's right. You think you have rights, trial by jury and things like that, but these administrative courts don't need any of that.
Yeah.
And even as one of the social workers says, we don't need a warrant.
Exactly. It's just disgusting.
But the premises for why they took the kid was just such a farce. It should never have happened. None of this should have happened.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that you came out. Now, say your name again so everybody knows.
Yeah, it's Levi Anderson with Freedom Man. That's our political action committee. And then our story is you can find it on Facebook. You can find it online. It's babysires.com. And that's my son's story. Same thing that happened here.
Thank you.
Thank you,
coming
John.
out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So a lot more people here to talk to get this information out. It's a heck of a day. We're gonna get John Frankman over there. Can?
Too many.
Hey, John, can I talk to you?
Sure, of course.
So this guy needs a taller tripod here.
Yeah.
Now you were Special Forces,
Yes.
Army Ranger.
So yeah.
Tell me about how you got involved in first your campaign, and you were actually you explain the situation in the
Sure. So I was a Special Forces Green Beret, and I was assigned to 7th Special Forces Group.
And I moved down here in June of 2020. That's when I moved from Fort Bragg after graduating the Special Forces Qualification course. And that was at the height of COVID. And when the COVID shot was coming out, we knew it was being developed. I had some concerns about it. I had concerns about the aborted fetal cell lines that were used in the testing or production. And then as we learned more about the kind of safety effects of the COVID shot, I kind of made the determination I'm at least going to wait until it's mandatory, and kind of told my team that, hey, as your detachment commander, as your leader, I'm not going to punish or reward you based on whether you get this. I'm going to personally wait until it's mandatory. So through all that, decided not to get the shot, left the military because I lost out on deployments, out on team time, lost out on a job opportunity to ironically teach ethics at West Point. So left the military and just felt God put it on my heart that he wanted me to speak out about it.
Well, we're very grateful. Now, when the mandates came down within the military, how did you react?
So it was actually more pressure before the mandates came out for me. So in early 2021, you have the shot available. The mandate didn't come till August of 2021. But during that kind of pre-mandate period when the shot was available, you had a lot of punishment, coercion going on, where if you weren't vaccinated, you had to wear a mask. You had to quarantine for longer periods of time. They were starting to take away your ability to go on different trips and things of that nature. They took a deployment from us. But it was just a lot of prayer discernment. And in my background, I spent 4 years in seminary before going on active duty. So my faith is the most important thing to me. But just through prayer, basically discern this is what God wants me to do, to not get the shot. Create the aborted fetal cell piece for the health reasons, because it seemed like, as Green Berets, we learned how to use psychological operations to overthrow another country. And for us to not see the psyops that were happening in our own country, it felt wrong to me. So,
well, the Lloyd Austin, he was the one that pushed the mandates, right?
He was, yeah.
And Todd Callender, I believe, was the attorney that pushed a lawsuit to stop the mandates in the military. But, when you looked at some of the issues with the COVID vaccine, one of the things that it did was it increased the risk of myocarditis for males aged 12 to 17, which are our next generation of warfighters.
Yeah.
It really did seem almost like a foreign force was in control of our government and was trying to weaken us in the next battlefield.
It felt like a communist takeover of the military. Every survey that we took, it's like, how are women treated in the military, or how much diversity do you have? And it was very much pushing DEI principles. It was beating out conservatives through the COVID shot mandate. There were a number of people who were getting injured by the shot. People would come up to me on the side and say, hey, since doing this, I've had this cough, or I had this, facial reaction, or other things of that nature. Those are the more minor cases. There are certainly extreme ones too. But it did seem that under the Biden-Harris DOD, everything they did seemed to mean to weaken the military.
Yeah, it's hard to believe we lived through it, where we had a cross-dresser as our leader.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, frankly.
Right.
It's nice to see that some sanity is being restored, but a lot of damage was done. Were you offered an opportunity to come back?
So I could come back, and the reinstatement process is something where everybody thinks, hey, Trump signed his executive order. They're bringing people back. We're all good. Absolutely not. Right now, there were about 8,600 who were kicked out, and there were maybe about 80,000 who, quote unquote, voluntarily separated. And that's people who, rather than face the consequences of staying in with the shot mandate, chose to leave. So we had about 80,000 people exodus from the military, and so far we've maybe had about 80 reinstated. That means for every 1,000 who was forced out or left, only one's been reinstated. The reason being is the process is still overly bureaucratic. People aren't actually given full back pay. The back pay is subtracted from everything you made as a civilian, which goes against what I think Trump wants. And most people aren't offered the back pay. So I would not be offered the back pay because I, quote unquote, voluntarily separated. And there's no accountability. That's the biggest piece. Now, last Friday, Undersecretary Tata announced that he would have investigation for accountability. I like some people on the team. Some of them are friends of mine, Casey Dixon, Sonny Duncan. However, I have yet to see accountability, and some of the biggest COVID offenders are at the highest ranks of the Pentagon right now.
The military was also behind. The DOD had contracts for these Pfizer vaccine rollouts. And we've got attorneys like Warner Mendenhall with Brooke Jackson, who pursued cases, Ketam cases against Pfizer and their subcontractors for fraudulent data in the vaccines, and the DoD and the DOJ are involved in preventing a key TAM case for going forward. It's unusual for the DOJ to side with the defendant. Generally speaking, a key TAM helps reclaim money from the government if there was fraud. So we're hoping that the DOJ comes around. We're struggling. You know, it's not just a situation that involves the DOJ. It's also the courts.
Yeah.
Prosecutors don't go after cases they can't win.
And one of the difficulties is that when you had the mandate rescinded in January of 2023, there were, I think, over 20, I have to get the exact number, lawsuits that were against the DOD. And the reason they had the lawsuits, that's important to get into, one was from religious freedom perspective, where our rights exemptions were denied. But the other one is on the legality issue, that most service members were not offered Comirnaty. Comirnaty was the FDA approved drug. Pfizer is what was offered. Pfizer is EUA approved, and Secretary Lloyd Austin did not have the right to mandate an EUA approved drug. It had to be FDA approved, and even if it's FDA approved, there are certain steps that you can take in order to, I don't know, if you don't want to get it to appeal, other things of that nature. Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you learned in the process of going through this that this is not exactly new in the military. Jim Zitlow has done. He was actually part of the pandemic preparation committee in 2007. Thomas Hallivan, he's the one that found clots that occurred.
Yeah.
And there were some other pilots, and my brain is blanking right now. But they were kicked out in 2000s because of the anthrax vaccine that they refused to, because they were seeing issues with their fellow pilots. You know, this is a real question mark. You know, are soldiers designed to defend the country,
Yeah.
or are they guinea pigs?
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. And there are some individuals who were from the anthrax era that have been helping us. Now, the COVID era, you've had more organization and pushback than you absolutely had in anthrax. And there's this false idea that just because you're a service member, you give up some of your rights. Well, yeah, they have some shot mandates, but you still have your religious rights. You're still a citizen. What I would like to do, God willing, if elected to Congress, is have a medical freedom amendment where people cannot be mandated to take a drug against their will, where there has to be full and informed consent, and where drug companies have to be held liable for the injuries that happen to them.
Did you ever expect that the defense of the United States that you took an oath to pursue it would be used like this instead of on the battlefield?
It felt like an absolute betrayal while I was in the military, and it was very difficult. And Special Forces Green Berets, we go through SEER, which is Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape. And I had the least vaccinated detachment in all of 7 Special Forces group, just partly because I was just the officer who made that determination. I'm not going to get it. Most of the guys followed along. And every day often felt like a SEER scenario where we're having to be careful. What do we say to leadership? What do we not say? How do we buy ourselves more time? So yeah, it certainly was an experience.
Well, I'm so grateful that you showed up here today. Thank you. And you're running for?
I'm running for Florida's 1st Congressional District.
And is that this area? Or?
That is this district. It's Escambia County out to half of Walton County. It's the most veteran dense populated district in the country, like 15%, 90,000 veterans. And it deserves a veteran who's going to fight for veterans, and a veteran who has fought for veterans. That's what I've been doing the last 3 years since getting out of the military, trying to fight for service members negatively impacted.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch your campaign.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too.
But they should have another example. What you said is your opinion.
Yeah.
Well, this is for.
Okay.
So this will be on the screen.
Okay, thank you.
And I got the yeah for you.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm sort of
He's not wrong. It's like, well, taking my kids, so from the get-go, I really not. Yeah. I mean, it's like we to a really nice house. Like the document, okay, harass, I said, and I'm like, it says right here, there's it says, and it says right here, you gotta go to school to go pick them up. I'm like, something wrong, and they're just like,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just like
sorry.
That was not just. Yeah, there's a lot more. Hey,
Okay. Literally, so he was like sanctioning, he was sanctioning. Do you ever find the ego? So there's a up on the top, you go up to.
yes, even like they were backing up. See, it's not just everything.
Employment opportunity commission. I'm not. I'm not. Okay, so you're listening on site. Yeah, something.
It's a lot. I love it.
We're, I see it.
yeah. No, I understand. I'm worried the legislature.
So there is a city planning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's 59 years old, lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Connected with the, and I'm from Georgia. And she started on see if they
I'm like trying to.
Everything. Let me bring this back.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you do. Thank you.
So you have to look at everything, right? Like all of the little things, like you think this doesn't matter. Maybe it's just an isolated case or whatever. But imagine if the same weapon was used against a parent that lets their child play So hopefully that'll work. Go back to that. Check. Hopefully you can hear us. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah. West Florida Young Republicans vice president, and basically what really got me into this case is that somebody that is one of my followers on my Instagram account, the Free Floridian. We've been covering different issues on political freedom cases, medical freedom, and all sorts of different things. We talk about religion and politics, two things they say you're not supposed to talk about. And I had someone down in South Florida reach out to me and was like, "Hey, have you heard about this case? I would encourage you to look into it." And I was like, "No, never heard of it." So looked into it a little bit, realized it was just not, basically not too far from my front doorstep. And I was like, "Well, I got to get involved." And for me, this really boils down to an issue of due process and justice. That again, there's so many complicated issues with this case, but if nothing else, if someone watching is like, okay, well, she has been placed under a gag order in violation to me of Article 1, Section 4 of our state constitution.
Right.
She has not had a jury trial. She's been denied a jury trial. And anybody state statute that says that anybody threatened with more than in state prison has the right to a jury trial. But for some reason, you can have your child taken away from you without a jury trial. That's something in legislation that we need to fix. And then also the fact that what I tell people, just go look at the body cam footage.
Yeah.
It is very evident. It was unprofessional the way the DCF workers worked. And I was just listening to it this morning on the way over here. The police officers, and that's why I kind of gave them a shout out. Like, they did the right thing. They actually asked to go into the home, and why did they do that? Warrant, or if there's a medical emergency, they don't have to ask for warrant. They knew they had to ask for warrant because neither of those things were present, to my knowledge. So I applaud them for actually asking to go into the house. Didn't see the DCF workers do that, and so this is an issue of we have to have all the rights afforded to someone being accused of a crime in such a case as this.
So now, do you guys have a nonprofit?
We don't. We are an organization we cover the four westernmost counties of Florida: Santa Rosa, Escambia, Walton, and Okaloosa.
Great. Well, you gave a great speech. Hopefully we got audio of it.
Yeah.
You can't really see the iPhone in the sun, so I'm going to take a risk with that and pray we are being heard. But thank you. And, I'm afraid that this is going to have to get more attention.
I was going to say, I don't know exactly the specific organization. We have an organization. I don't know the technical side of things, but yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So hopefully you guys heard me or heard some of that. So I'm just going to explore the space a little bit.
No, only medically now. That way. Hi there. Nice to meet you. So we got different auto like begin. All right. I understand you guys. Which actually is very similar to what's here today. Unfortunately, and now this actually occurred. Correct. Yeah. Red state.
Is it back now?
Unfortunately, this happens. Long story short, and if you want more details, we go freeman.org. That's a also that's another site.
Grega, can you confirm we have audio?
Her daughter, and of course we were accused.
She went to the
Yeah. So there's a lot. Yeah, it is. CPS, 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 they ended up taking it. And, in absence of 7 days.
But then if they tested blood,
Much more time.
say, let's see,
The
right?
reason we got back was because we saw a lot of blood pressure there.
Can you let us know what's the spike?
And also because it was
Okay, we have audio back.
Okay, no, that's great. They put pressure on everybody. Ended up having
And hopefully today the judge sees fit that now
And recommend.
order that was placed on her for all this. Did you have anything similar? Yeah, resolution of that. You don't really know
he actually
Greg, you're my audio. Are we still good?
thank you.
So people were kind of being that voice that you couldn't be.
And thankfully, we had those connections that the public, they knew what was going on.
Yeah. Now,
So it is 10 o'clock, and the court hearing has been in for 90 minutes now. It's a very beautiful, brand new courthouse. Hopefully, will result in high quality justice.
And so it did take about a couple of months for the office to get in. And so once we got
You want to talk?
You want me to talk?
I do. Let's go in the shade. So, okay, I gotta, I gotta lower the microphone here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the tripod here.
I'm okay. I'm up here.
Okay. So,
Are you on live right now?
yeah, we are.
I'm being a goofball.
So, we're with Key. Let's do that. You know, I was glad to see. By the way, this is Key West Jess.
Hey, for having me.
Jess has been probably the greatest force in getting attention to this case and helping Joy and Kenlee find a way to get their information out there. And so, how did you get involved?
So I've actually known about this case for about a year, probably since last February. Joy was smart to have set up a foundation with documentation, doing her interview that she did with Dale Richardson, and because shortly after she was put on a gag order. And so thank God she set that foundation for all of us to be able to get to work on that case. And I originally, I was down in the Florida Keys. I mean, it's February of last year. I'm thinking this is not something I'm going to get involved in. I'm nowhere near this case. I don't have a following in Rosa County. So I dismissed it, but I did have all the documentation. Well, lo and behold, come May, we decided to buy a house, and I find out that Joy and I are almost neighbors. And I just thought, wow, that's kind of a God thing. And so I decided to go ahead and get involved. I was notified about the case by some mutual friends that have property in Pensacola and in Key West. So that's how I was notified about it. Turns out Cindy and Sherry, who were here today, are heavily involved, and I had already met Cindy also. So they sucked me in, and here we are. And I've gotten to know Joy her as a friend. This is somebody that she's a good person. She's a good mom. She's a normal person. But she's been traumatized, and she can't even begin to heal yet because it is still happening. And her little girl with cystic fibrosis, that genetic disease, it shortens people's lives as it is, and let alone to put them through a situation like this. It can only do harm. It does not do good. I truly believe this little girl belongs with her mother.
And it can shorten. We should also call out another really powerful advocate, Denise Cruz, who has been absolutely crucial to helping disseminate information, and she helped educate me a lot as well as you.
Yes,
And Denise is what, 49?
I believe so. Something like that. Yeah.
She looks 35, but she's 49, which is an accomplishment for a cystic fibrosis patient.
Yeah.
And she's healthy, she's fit, she's exercises. I think she trains in martial arts too.
I think she does. She's a superhero. Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of awesome.
Yeah, she is.
But this
Yeah. Also, Dr. Nell Birch. She's been fantastic.
absolutely, yeah. Her information was very valid and powerful.
Brian Festa with We the People. I mean, getting the
We the Patriots.
We the Patriots. Sorry, We the Patriots. He's been fantastic doing the legal, advocacy to raise money for that. So
Interesting thing about this was because there was body cam footage, it got attention. But a lot of these cases don't have body cam footage. And we have somebody over here who's going to tell her story. We've got about 3 minutes if you can do it. So come on over and tell us. Sure. No? Okay. Sorry.
not on a live.
Okay.
Not on a live.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
So yeah, that's,
So and let me just premise the reason why. She's deep in a case herself, and she's to the point that it's very possible they may put a gag on her. And I will tell everybody out there, tell your story, use your voice. You have a First Amendment right in this country for a reason. Get it out, do what Joy did, lay that foundation, go max until you can't go max anymore. Because once they gag you, then everybody else has to work, on your behalf, and we need to have something to work with. So go max, talk loud, speak about your case, talk to anyone who will listen, and get out to Tallahassee, get out to wherever your government is, your local government. Like General Flynn always says, local action makes national impact. Get up and help your neighbor, help each other.
we used to have robust news in this country. But unfortunately, the pharmaceutical takeover of all the ad space has kind of silenced them on medical issues. And it's up to little guys like me and advocates like you to go out there and try to break through the logjam of chaos, social media, to get attention to these things. And again, the body camera, which is not normal for DCF abductions or take-ups or whatever you want to call them.
They should all be wearing body cams.
They should all be wearing body cams. In fact, I think Florida has an issue where people that can affect your liberty enjoy a luxury of privacy from recordings that they maybe shouldn't have. Maybe if you can affect someone's liberty and in the action of doing such a thing, you lose that privacy of being recorded.
How about also the freedom to record your medical appointments? In the state of Florida, it is a one-party state. You have to have, I'm sorry, it's a two-party state. You have to have the permission of both parties when you're recording. But if Joy had the authorization to record the medical appointments, which are very complex for cystic fibrosis children, she probably wouldn't be in this position right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of doctors won't even let you be seen if they're going to be recorded. And I would find that to be a big problem. Turn around and walk out, go find another doctor if they have a problem with that.
Yeah. Now, so when Joy comes out, we won't be able to speak with her because the gag will probably still be in place unless a miracle is occurring up there and everything is being thrown out and she's being returned to,
Yeah.
to care of her daughter. But there's a problem with transparency, and it goes even further. Like the state is now, legislators are trying to prevent the ability of people to speak out about glyphosate, Roundup. This is kind of crazy. Like, you're not allowed to criticize an agricultural spray that causes allegedly cancer. I mean, where are we?
Yeah, where are we? We're living in an upside down clown world these days, I swear. And especially for those of us who've been working on these issues for 10 years or more. You thought we'd be in a better place by now, and we're just not. I don't understand it.
Well, at the same time, it's bringing these issues to the forefront of the public's knowledge, and that is helping.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to Elon Musk for allowing free speech on X. I mean, if we did not have free speech on X through Elon Musk, we'd still be censored. We wouldn't be able to talk about this stuff. We might have half the amount of people here and half the coverage, if that. So thank you to Elon Musk.
Yeah, we did not have that for a while.
Yeah.
It was in dark days.
Yes.
So thanks, Elon.
Yeah.
Hey, call me, bro.
Yeah.
Talk about my followers.
We are going to pray. I think we're going to head on upstairs now. They might be coming out for a break here soon. Sometimes they come out around 11 o'clock and take an early lunch. So we'll see what happens there. But, we're praying for our legislators. We're praying for the judge, and that the truth be known, because as we have found out through researching this case, that the truth has not always been prevailing in this case. So
Yeah, it's a questionable practice these days.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you being here
Jess.
today. Okay. We're going to head on up. See you take off.
No, I just wanted you said I need to meet.
Yeah.
I wanted to wait till it was all.
I think you two should talk. She wants to talk private.
So I'm keeping the live open for 3 hours. So
At another time. Do you need me to just take your number?
yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Okay, she's got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want to take that upstairs? We have to be very quiet.
I don't know if they'll let me up there with a live stream.
I'm almost sure they will.
They
That's
will?
the reason why I spend a lot of time up here.
They
I know
will?
the people here.
And
I've already talked to the security guards about this before. I know the fact that they actually I actually heard Judge Duncan say media is allowed here. They're allowed to come in.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
I want to be as
Respectful.
cautious and respectful as possible.
I'll tell you if you want it.
I'm gonna get. Gotta tell you, the weather in Florida is amazing. Really, really nailed it.
Your name John.
That's what they tell me.
I think you're looking for my mother. I just delivered her.
Hey, brother, good to see you again. I saw you in
Yeah,
where's
Houston.
Ben at?
Houston, right?
Yeah.
That was
We
it.
hung out.
I remember now. He'll be here any minute. My mama.
Oh, is that your mom in the blue?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk to her. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna run use the restroom real quick because I just drove all the way from Mississippi. Well, I'll come back
Okay.
over. It's been a minute though. Yeah.
I know, dude.
Hey,
It is.
no.
And what they've done to your mother is offensive.
Well, yeah. That's pretty bad. And I actually did a little digging in the person too. This DEI nurse.
For live stream. So, thing is here in the right courthouse. She was texting me back then.
I used to live there. And I got custody of my first son when he was 18 months old. Because it took that courthouse 18 months to give me custody. Anywho, I went to that courthouse and I said, Mama, it's empty. I said, there's got to be a new courthouse.
Yeah. Did you tell them the right location?
You
might want to text them where we are.
Sure.
He didn't know.
He didn't. Well, I used to live here. And the only time I went to that courthouse was for child custody. That's a good thing.
All right. Well, we're still doing the live stream, so I'll get your mom to talk about her situation too. So,
He should be here any minute, but I'm gonna call him and make sure it's the right way. So where do you live? Hey, you know the new courthouse is gonna have a lobby. I'm sitting here talking to John. The courthouse on Avalon, Santa Rosa County Courthouse. I told you before you left. If you're getting off I-10 and you're going toward Milton, I don't know that address.
hey, you know what? If you got an iPhone, just send them your location.
I'll just send you a location. So you're coming south on Avalon.
It's so nice to meet you.
Right past that Tom Thumb.
Now we talked on the phone. Do you want to come over in the shade and tell me a little bit about what happened to you? I think our Freedom Council show is being preempted today, unfortunately, but
That's okay. This is very important what's going on here.
yeah. Now, so for those of you that know Benjamin Marble, he's a doctor that has been very. He's a kind of a comedian, musician, jack of all, well, master of many trades, and he's also a great medical doctor. This is his mother, and can you state your name?
My name's Margaret Marble.
So, Margaret, your situation, as you described to me on the phone a couple of months ago, is horrible. Can you kind of tell us what happened?
I was having to have epidural shots in my spine because I have severe spinal stenosis and a lot of pain. So I had gone in to have the shot done. And initially I was supposed to be first, but then they relegated me to be the last patient he saw. And the reason was because I had told them I didn't think of it in the last 30 days. And there was an issue about that. So they did the shot, and they put me in recovery. And as I was in, after the 1 hour period of recovery, they gave me my discharge papers and said, we called your daughter. She's coming to pick you up. Let's get you dressed and out of here. And as I'm looking at the discharge papers, I noticed the procedure was done. And then underneath it, it had COVID-19 vaccine, Moderna. And
COVID-19 vaccine, Moderna.
And I'm looking at them saying, what is this about? And they said, the nurse said, why are you asking? And I said, because I told them I did not want that vaccination. Now, when they take you in to do that shot, they give you a sedative and an anesthesia, so you're kind of out of it. You're not really aware of what's going on in the room. And I'm saying, I told them I did not want that vaccination. And she said, oh, well, they wouldn't have given it to you if you didn't want it. And I said, oh, I definitely told them I didn't want anything to do with that vaccination. And she said, well, it was just a typo. It was just a typo. So I got dressed and everything. My daughter took me home, and my son Ben had come over because he had been concerned about me. And he was looking at paperwork, and he said, Mother, they gave you that vaccination. And I said, well, I asked the nurse, and she said, no, it was a typo. He said, no, this is no typo. They gave you that vaccination. And I want you to call the doctor. Well, the doctor's office was closed by then. So the next morning I did call them and talk to them, and they said, no, ma'am, under no circumstances would we have given you that vaccination if you said, no, you didn't want it. And I said, well, that's what I told them. So that was, I need to back up. In May of 2021, I had had a heart cath done because I had failed my stress test. Mm-hmm. The heart cath showed all of my arteries, as the report says, were patent. which means that they were all clear. There was nothing wrong. Everything was fine with my heart. I had the shot done in November. In September the 14th of 2021. The following March of 2022, my cardiologist said, I think I want to go ahead and have an echo done since it's been almost a year since you had your cath done to make sure everything's still fine. At that point, it showed severe arterial sclerosis. And they're going, well, did you stop taking your medicine? No, I've been taking my cholesterol meds. Well, something's happened. It's gone from everything's clear to everything, you've got severe arterial sclerosis. I said, I don't know what happened because I still wasn't equating it to that shot because I could not wrap my mind around the fact that they would have done that with me saying no. Then in late 2023, my blood pressure starts going up. They can't control it. In 2024, in January 2024, they put me in ICU for 4 days to get my blood pressure down. And then my heart started doing weird things. So I spent most of 2024 trying to get the blood pressure under control. None of the meds were controlling it. Then in January 2025, my cardiologist said, I really think your EKGs are looking crazy. Everything's kind of strange. We need to do another heart cath. During that heart cath, she discovered that the LAD was totally blocked. So they had to put a stent in. She also discovered that the aortic valve, which had been perfect in 2021, was now so bad that they needed to go back in and replace it. So they did that in 2025. I 3 heart failure now. My health is really tanked. Ben was telling me after I had to have the aortic valve replaced, he said, Mother, I'm telling you right now, they gave you that shot. They lied to you. They gave you that shot. And he recommended a doctor over here do some blood work on me. She did the blood work and she called me and said, I have the results. And she said, I can tell you right now, it's my medical opinion. They gave you. She said, you had COVID. Showing up in your blood shows that you had that vaccine. And
Against your wishes.
Against my wishes. Anyhow, that's where I'm at today. I believe I've had that vaccine, and it's still difficult for me to believe it, though. To think that they would not listen to my wishes and do what they thought was right. It's wrong.
It's medical battery, I believe, is what it's called.
Yes, it is. It's called medical battery.
Now, we don't necessarily have to say the names, but this was in Mississippi where that happened, right?
This was in South Mississippi, yes.
So I'm sorry to hear this because, I know that you've created a lot of highly intelligent sons, maybe too smart. And,
You've got that right.
anybody that knows Ben Marble will know that he would not have encouraged his mother to get any mRNA platform vaccinations.
No, in fact, whenever they first came out with it, I refused it because I'd found out what the medical name for COVID was, what the medical profession was calling COVID. They were calling it COVID-19 SARS-2. And that made my ears perk up because I remember SARS-1 and several of my family members had gotten sick because of SARS-1. And I knew that they'd been working on a vaccine for SARS-1, had never developed it. Mm-hmm. Because and I might be wrong about this, but I don't think I am. All of the lab animals had died that they were trying this new vaccine on, the SARS-1.
Right.
So they're trying to tell me now, it's been years they've been trying to develop a vaccine for SARS-1. Years later, they got a vaccine for SARS-2 in 6 months? Please don't tell me that. I'm a little moron.
Well, after they screwed up everything else with early treatment options, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, whatever else,
Yes.
It was obvious to me that there was some
Something was going on.
ulterior motive here, and it did not have patient health care
No.
in mind.
And on my paperwork, like I said, whenever I saw the Moderna vaccine, whenever I finally went down after Ben told me all this, and then the doctor says, you've had the vaccine, I went and got my medical records. It's on there. Only it's on what they sent me home with was the Moderna vaccine to be given at home. Now, they don't give that vaccine to you to take home.
Right. Well, Moderna only makes one product.
So anyway, I'm saying,
Vaccine.
Ben, why would they have done this? He said, because they were being paid, Mom. They wanted the money to show that they'd given you the vaccine. They wanted the money for that vaccine.
So now, whoever did that, if they didn't give you the shot and they billed for it, that's medical fraud, billing fraud.
Yes.
And if they did give you the shot, it's criminal medical battery, which can also result in a civil litigation lawsuit. So there's no really good outcome for these people. And we have spoken with some attorneys. There is definitely interest in this case. And, I'm so thankful that you drove all the way to here to support Joy and Kenlee, but also it's hard to get attention on these cases.
It's very hard to get attention on these cases because of the money. They've got the money to fight it. Most Americans don't. We have to stand up and we have to stand together on this because they're killing people. They're killing people.
So make sure when you go to get any kind of procedure in a hospital. In fact, I don't know. You told them you didn't want it, and they did it anyway.
Yes, I refuse to sign for it.
I mean, I frankly think that until medical licenses start getting tossed for this, there be some punishment for this behavior.
Exactly, since it's not helping people, it's actually harming people. My heart was I had several leaky valves, some very minor leaky valves due to my age. But otherwise, my heart was in perfect condition. And the aortic valve was in perfect condition. And there was no stenosis. That was in, like I said, May of 2021. I had that shot in September of 2021. And in March of 22, I have severe stenosis. No, that shot caused that. There's not a doubt in my mind that shot caused.
Well, if they found it in your blood too, spike.
Yes, they
was
found
it spike?
it in my blood, spike proteins.
We've got so many stories like this, and we're trying to get the information out. But I'm very grateful that you took time out of your day. And how long was the drive here?
3 hours.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I'm worth it, but I'm glad you did it anyway.
I'm glad you're standing up.
And I love your sons. They're all good men.
Yes, they are. They really are.
One might be a little mouthy, but we love him even more for it.
Oh, Ben.
I bet he was a challenge as a child.
Actually, Ben was very good until he became a teenager.
Oh no.
He was very, very good. And they never did anything bad or to harm people, but they did some crazy stuff.
I have no doubt. I've seen a few of them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It is wonderful to meet you and hang out with you. And I hope you have a safe drive back. And we're going to get more attention out for this. And God bless you. And
God bless you, son.
We've got so much to do. But hey, what did you think of this Joy and Kenlee case?
Now, remembering this correctly, they took the child because the doctor complained.
Yes.
That why didn't he allow her to get a second opinion? I think she had a right to
Well,
a second.
she had second opinions, and the system just tends to railroad people.
Yes, it does.
And once it starts, it's very difficult to get it to stop unless you have Bill Gates' litigation team on your side.
Yes.
Which she did not, but she's got us now. So I really hope
that she can get her baby back. They had her baby
2 years.
In that foster care system?
Yes. They took the child 6 hours away to Jacksonville. So that's a burden on the mother to have to travel to visit every 2 weeks. Only supervised visitation. I mean, they treated her like she was a criminal. And for a medical question, it's just,
No.
It's so unethical what they've done. And so my hope is, what I try to do was just disseminate the information that was out there, break down the body cam footage of the, taking of the child, take their statements and use it against them
Yes.
because their statements were obviously false. They didn't have any reason to take that kid. And this happens a lot, so often, and almost every case doesn't have body cam footage, but it was a body cam footage of social workers laughing and grinning and whatnot. That really pissed everybody in this country off, as well they should have, because
It should. It should.
these things cannot continue. So I'm gonna get a couple more interviews, and it is 10:30, so in about 30 minutes, Joy may be coming out, and we'll see what happens.
All we can do
I
is,
bet it's interesting up there right now.
yes, is pray for that woman
Yeah.
and pray that God allows right to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you so much, Tim.
Oh, thank you again, hon.
I'm gonna get Rachel Rodriguez,
Okay.
gubernatorial candidate.
What, the one in red?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Are you done?
We're doing free work for them. I'm doing everything I can. Yes.
Okay. What's up, Splat? We're gonna do a little chat over here. A little shade.
One was a help. That's kind of mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clinton Ohlers. All right, we gotta elevate this a little bit for Clinton, okay, since he's Nephilim height. So, Clinton, what do you think about today so far?
Well, I thought it was a great turnout. I thought. Should we start over?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Live. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. This for everybody watching. It was a great turnout. I mean, I was amazed at the number of people who came to show up to show support for Kenlee, who also have this going on. I was just talking to a couple in the Air Force here, lost their two infants. This wonderful young couple, and they lost both of their infants at just one at just a few weeks old, ostensibly because of abuse. But what's actually is going on is there's they have low iron, low vitamin D, which caused some microfracturing. Up on an x-ray, they were accused of abuse. The children were taken. This was the youngest daughter, who was just a few weeks old, and the son was then taken because he was similarly situated. No evidence of abuse, nothing like that. And here's what's terrible is it's the same pattern we're seeing. Once the authorities have the child, they won't do the thorough gamut of testing if they can avoid it in order to get to a medical conclusion. No, they want to keep it under the narrative of abuse and fight everything. And what it also means, so now it's actual child abuse, obviously from taking the child from the family, but this child has a medical condition that's not being addressed because of the lie of abuse that they want to keep going. And how do ordinary people fight this? I mean, right? People, it's not like they're multimillionaires, right? Which would still be difficult. And so this is, I'm just amazed. I met several people like this here at this, and this is why they're turning out. But this is a massive problem we're looking at.
It is. And sorry, our little camera likes to follow I think the angels behind us are tricking the face cam. Anyway, yeah, it's you're too tall.
You have it set so that we'll be the same height is what's going on.
Yeah, that's my goal here. I don't want the ladies to get confused. All my fans, right?
All your fans, yeah.
Speaking of ladies, with us right now is gubernatorial candidate for Republican
Into the frame.
Rachel Rodriguez. Come on right between the two gentlemen, if you don't mind. You want to put your bag down?
Absolutely.
So we're live streaming it now, so I don't want to violate those transparency things.
There you go.
But so Rachel, what did you think about today?
I'm just really impressed to see the public come out here.
Hey, could you guys go down there so it's not we're live streaming? Thank you. No.
Very good.
No, we're glad you're enjoying.
We want you to be here.
Yeah.
Just
So, I think one of the main things that I found wonderful about today is how many people were here. There's been a lot of work by, well, you guys and other journalists to put eyes on.
here's Joy. We're with you, Joy.
That didn't last long, did it?
No. Scary, isn't it?
It is scary.
Your future could be decided.
Yeah, come here. Let's.
I'm glad. I'm glad my children are above age now.
So Joy just walked out. She can't speak to us. She can't even really look at us.
Okay.
We're gonna see what. Well, we don't know.
Is that because of the gag order?
That's because of the gag order. Again, you're silenced in your own defense. What country do we live in?
I mean, I thought we lived in a country where there was a constitutional right to face your accusers, right? Because it was so important that the truth and communicating that truth through speech is protected, right? And also the small thing called the First Amendment. So it's amazing the way that gag orders are used to protect a corrupt system so that a person can't seek justice against their false accusers.
Here,
So-
you want to talk to the cameraman?
Sure. All right. Well, John is, I think, taking off to meet with someone here, but let me give you some more reflections then on this, a little bit about myself in a way, and why I resonate so much with this is that several years ago, we were in a church group with that we just been invited to, and it was kind of young marrieds, and one of the couples there, when it goes, at the end of these Bible studies, right? For those who aren't familiar with them, you usually pray at the end, okay? And so when we go to the prayer time, it was requested that everyone pray for this couple, really young, attractive couple, just sweet parents. They had lost their children because, again, of a misdiagnosis, similar to what I just described with this other couple that was here. In this case, the child had some bruising that was due to internal bleeding, and but was from a rare sort of medical disorder. And in this case, too, the doctors disagreed. Like one doctor at the hospital said it's abuse, but there were other staff that said, no, we should look into this other cause. But before that happened, CPS was called. And when we returned from Hong Kong, I checked in on this to see how it had developed. And they'd gotten their kids back, but it took 2 years. And I don't know if any parent who hasn't lost their kids can imagine being away from your children for 2 years, losing 2 precious years of their development and that relationship when they're growing and changing so fast and need their parents who love them more than anyone.
So a little update. The case was originally scheduled to go from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. And that sounds like just sort of a brief thing. So in court, everything takes forever. But Joy could not speak. Her attorneys would not speak. But someone that was outside of the courtroom just told us they're on break until 1 o'clock. So I think we're going to shut down and come back at 1.
Okay.
So we'll let you know. Thanks, guys. And I hope we had audio for all of that. Otherwise, I will be very sad.